An Asian Development Bank's investment arm, ADB Ventures, it has recently announced its first two investments in India. Its first investment has been announced in India's WION Motors, which is an electric vehicle manufacturer and fleet operator. It's focused on last-mile commercial logistics. ADB Ventures invests in early-stage tech firms globally that address urgent development challenges in emerging Asia and the Pacific region. And to talk today more on this, we are joined by Charles Cole Navarro, investment specialist at ADB Ventures. Welcome, Mr. Navarro. And my first question to you, what are the main constituents that you look at before finalizing such a deal and putting money into it?
Well, I mean, as a development fund, I think first passes we want to invest in climate and gender equality projects because I think climate change is a big problem. And we need to start putting in money to solve that long-term issue. I also think gender equality or, just broadly equity itself is really key, a social issue, because you want to utilize 100% of the population. So those are the two lenses we look at each deal. In terms of, specific verticals, clean tech is a big piece. Health tech as well is an important segment for us. But just diving deep into clean tech, I think e-mobility is really one of the more exciting spaces there, that and energy efficiency in our view. And if we look at specific companies, it's really the market itself. How big is it? I mean, obviously, India is a tremendous market. And of course, we also look at the management team because, the business model may not be correct the first time around, but if you have talented management team, really dedicated people, then they will pivot and make the necessary adjustments. So again, that's what we saw in Euler.
But how does India stand vis-a-vis other markets? Is India's vast population good for more investment and ventures, and will you invest more thinking about that?
No, absolutely. I think the domestic market itself is huge. So that's a really good foundation if you want to build a unicorn. And what we find increasingly in our portfolio is there are a lot of Indian technologies that are quite competitive across the region. And India in many ways is ahead of a lot of the Southeast Asian countries, for example, in terms of just innovation itself. And it could be because of the strong engineering, education in there, the IITs, et cetera. There's also the experience from Silicon Valley, sort of, investors who, were originally from India and then came back. So I think in a lot of ways, India is ahead, and we are looking forward to maybe helping the companies in India expand to the rest of Asia. So that has been my observation.
Well, thank you, Mr. Navarro, for joining us. And to have a take of how investments are received by Indian companies, today we are joined by Saurav Kumar also, who has got this investment from ADB. He is CEO of WION Motors. Mr. Kumar, you have just closed $9.5 million Series A funding. What are you going to do with this? How will you expand your business with this?
We are into light electric commercial vehicle. With this funding, we will be launching our commercial three-wheeler cargo in the Q2 of this year. And other than the launch, we are also, right now we have been in Delhi, primarily Delhi NCR. We'll be expanding to other cities of India. So we are going to Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai. And we, as you know, company, we are building vehicles, but we are also working on setting up the entire ecosystem. So that means the service, the charging station network. So we are currently have roughly around 100 charging stations. We'll work on expanding those networks so that the customers are able to find these charging stations.
WION now available in your country. Download the app and get all the news on the move.